Happy Easter, happy Resurrection Day, whatever your belief may be. If you're not having a belief of any kind, I hope you have a good day too. And thank you for stopping by and watching this video. Yes, this is a picture of Ereshkigal. Today, on the latest Necronomicon video in this series, we will be discussing the Descent of Inanna, or the Sleep of Ishtar. Now, before I begin, I want to say some acquired reading is needed. To understand fully the story, you will have to read the Epic of Gilgamesh. And so, to, fully comprehend the story just a little bit more, especially towards the end. Now, the one in this book, the Necronomicon, on page 166, I believe is based on the Akkadian version and not the Sumerian version. I did a little research, and yeah, but either way, despite a few discrepancies here and there, it's still basically the same story, and you can obviously see, the parallels between Inanna, Ishtar, and Jesus Christ. At least in the regards of the resurrection aspect. Now, forgive me for some of these words may not come out quite right, but I'm going to do the best I can. So, the Magan text, Part 4, of the Sleep of Ishtar. Yet Ishtar, Queen of Heaven, bright light of nights, mistress of the gods, set her mind in that direction. From above she set her mind, to below she set her mind. From heavens she set forth to the abyss, out of the gates of the living, to enter the gates of death, out of the lands we know, into the lands we know not, to the land of no return, to the land of Queen Ereshkigal. Ishtar, Queen of Heavens, she set her mind. Ishtar, daughter of Sin, she set forth, to the black earth, the land of Kutha. She set forth, to the house of no return, she set her foot. Upon the road whence no return, she set her foot. To the cave, forever unlit, where bowls of clay are heaped upon the altar, where bowls of dust are the food of residents clothed only in wings. To Absu Ishtar set forth, where sleeps the dread Cthulhu. Ishtar set forth. The watcher stood fast. The watcher Ingazita stood fast. And Ishtar spoke unto him, Ningazita, serpent of the deep. Ningazita, horned serpent of the deep. Ningazita, plumed serpent of the deep. Open. Open the door that I may enter. Ningazita, spirit of the deep, watcher of the gate, remember. In the name of our Father before the flight, Inki, Lord and Master of Magicians, open the door that I may enter. Open, lest I attack the door, lest I break apart its bars, lest I attack the barrier, lest I take its walls by force. Open the door. Open wide the gate, lest I cause the dead to rise. I will raise up the dead. I will cause the dead to rise and devour the living. Open the door, lest I cause the dead to outnumber the living. Nengazita, spirit of the deep, watcher of the gate, open! Nengazita, the great serpent, coiled back on itself and answered Ishtar. Lady, queen among the gods, I go before my mistress Ereshkigal. Before the queen of death I will announce thee. And Nengazita, horned serpent, approached the lady Ereshkigal and said, Behold, Ishtar, thy sister, queen among the gods, stands before the gate. Daughter of Sin, mistress of Enki, she waits. And Ereshkigal was pale with fear. The dark waters stirred. Go, watcher of the gate. Go, Nengazita, watcher of the gate. Open the door to Ishtar, and treat her as it is written in the ancient covenant. And Nengazita loosened the bolt from the hatch, and darkness fell upon Ishtar. The waters rose and carried the goddess of light to the realms of the night. And the serpent spoke, Enter. Queen of heaven, the great above, that Ker may rejoice, that Kutha may give praise, that Kutu may smile, enter, that Cthulhu may be pleased at thy presence. And Ishtar entered. And there are 7 gates and 7 decrees. Just a second, folks. Okay. And Ishtar entered. Okay. At the first gate, Nengazita removed the crown, the great crown of her head. He took away, and Ishtar asked, Why, serpent, hast thou removed my first jewel? And the serpent answered, Thus it is, the covenant of old, set down before time. The rules of Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the first gate. At the second gate, Nengazita removed the wand of lapis lazuli. He took away, and Ishtar asked, Why, Nati, hast thou removed my second jewel? And Nati answered, Thus it is the covenant of old, set down before time. The decrees of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the second gate. At the third gate, Nengazita removed the jewels around her neck he took away, and Ishtar asked, Why, gatekeeper, hast thou removed my third jewel? And the gatekeeper answered, Thus it is the covenant of old, set down before time, the decrees of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the third gate. At the fourth gate, Nengazita removed the jewels on her breasts he took away. And Ishtar asked, Why, guardian of the outer, hast thou removed my fourth jewel? And the guardian answered, Thus it is, the covenant of old, set down before time, the rules of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the fourth gate. At the fifth gate, Nengazita removed the belt of jewels around her hips he took away, and Ishtar asked, Why, watcher of the forbidden entrance, hast thou removed my fifth jewel? And the watcher answered, Thus it is the covenant of old, set down before time, the rules of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the fifth gate. At the sixth gate, Nengazita removed the jewels around her wrists, and the jewels around her ankles he took away. And Ishtar asked, Why, Nin Kigal, hast thou removed my sixth jewel? And Nin Kigal answered, Thus it is the ancient covenant set down before time, the decrees of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the sixth gate. At the seventh gate, Nengazita removed the jeweled robe of Ishtar he took away. Ishtar, without protection, without safety. Ishtar, without talisman or amulet, asked, "Why, messenger of the Ancient Ones, hast thou removed my seventh jewel?" And the messenger of the Ancient Ones replied, "Thus it is the covenant of old, set down before time, the rules of the Lady of Cthulhu. Enter the seventh gate, and behold the netherworld." Ishtar has descended up to the land of Kur. To the depths of Kutha she went down, having lost her 7 talismans of the upper worlds, having lost her 7 powers of the land of the living. Without food of life or water of life, she appeared before Ereshkigal, mistress of death. Ereshkigal screamed at her presence. Ishtar raised up her arm. Ereshkigal summoned Nammatar, the magician Nammatar, saying these words. She spoke to him. "Go, imprison her, bind her in darkness, chain her to the sea below the seas. Release against her the 7 Anunnaki. Release against her 60 demons. Against her eyes, the demons of eyes. Against her sides, the demon of the sides. Against her heart, the demons of the heart. Against her feet, the demons of the feet. Against her head, the demons of the head. Against her entire body, the demons of Kur." And the demons tore at her from every side, and the Anunnaki, dread judges, 7 lords of the underworld, drew around her, faceless gods of Apsu. They stared, fixed her with the eye of death. With the glance of death, they killed her, and hung her like a corpse from a stake. The 60 demons, tearing her limbs from her sides, her eyes from her head, her ears from her skull. Ereshkigal rejoiced. Blind Azog-Thoth rejoiced. Eok Sakak rejoiced. Ishningarab rejoiced. Cthulhu rejoiced. The Maskim gave praise to the Queen of Death. The Gigim gave praise to Ereshkigal, Queen of Death. And the Elder Ones were rent with fear. Our Father Enki, Lord of Magic, receiving word by Nin-Shubar, Ishtar's servant Nin-Shubar. He hears Ishtar sleep in the house of death. He hears how Ganzir has been opened, how the face of the abyss opened wide its mouth and swallowed the Queen of Heaven, Queen of the rising of the sun. And Enki summoned forth clay, and Enki summoned forth wind. And from the clay and from the wind, Enki fashioned 2 elementals. He fashioned Kugaru, spirit of the earth. He fashioned the Kalaturu, spirit of the seas. To Kugaru he gave food of life. To Kalaturu he gave the water of life. And to these images he spoke aloud. Arise, Kugaru, spirit of the earth. Arise, Kalaturu, spirit of the seas. Arise and set thy feet to the gate of Ganzir, to the gate of the underworld, the land of no return. Set thine eyes, the 7 gates shall open for thee, no spell shall keep thee out, for my number is upon you. Take the bag of the food of life, take the bag of the water of life, and Ereshkigal shall not harm you, Ereshkigal shall not raise her arm against you, Ereshkigal shall not have no power over you. Find the corpse of Inanna, find the corpse of Ishtar, our queen, and sprinkle the food of life 60 times, and sprinkle the water of life 60 times. 60 times the food of life and the water of life sprinkled upon her body. And truly Ishtar will rise up with giant wings and scales like serpents. The two elementals flew to the gate of invisible. Ninkazita saw them not, invisible. They passed through the 7 watchers. With haste they entered the palace of death, and they beheld several terrible sights. The demons of the abyss lay there, dead but dreaming. They clung to the walls of the house of death, faceless and terrible. The Anunnaki stared out, blind and mad. Exogthoth reared up. The eye of the throne opened. The dark water stirred. The gates of lapis lazuli glistened in the darkness. Unseen monsters, spawned at the dawn of ages, spawned in the battle of Marduk and Tiamat, spawned by Huber, the sign of Huber, led by Kingu. With haste they fled through the palace of death, stopping only at the corpse of Ishtar, the beautiful queen, mistress of the gods. Lady of all the harlots of bright shining one of the heavens, beloved of Enki, lay hung and bleeding from 1,000 fatal wounds. Ereshkigal, sensing their presence, cried out. Kugaru, armed with fire, looked upon the queen of corpses with the ray of fire. Kalaturu, armed with flame, looked upon the queen of the graves with the rays of flame. And Ereshkigal, mighty in Kutha, turned her face. Upon the corpse of Inanna, 60 times they sprinkled the water of life of Enki. Upon the corpse of Ishtar 60 times they sprinkled the food of life of Enki. Upon the corpse, hung from a stake, they directed the spirit of life. Inanna arose. The dark waters trembled and roiled. Azogthoth screamed upon his throne. Cthulhu launched forth from his sleep. Ishningarab fled the palace of death. Iaxakak trembled in fear and hate. The Anunnaki fled their thrones. The eye upon the throne took flight. Ereshkigal roared and summoned Namatar. The magician Namatar she called, but not for pursuit, but for protection. Inanna ascended from the underworld. With the winged elementals she fled the gates of Ganzir and Neti. She fled, and verily the dead flew ahead of her. When through the first gate they fled, Ishtar took back her jeweled robes. When through the second gate they fled, Ishtar took back her jeweled bracelets. When through the third gate they fled, Ishtar took back her jeweled belt. When through the fourth gate they fled, Ishtar took back her jeweled necklace. When through the fifth gate they fled, Ishtar took back her belt of jewels. When through the sixth gate they fled, Ishtar took back her wand of lapis. When through the seventh gate they fled, Ishtar took back her jeweled crown. And the demons rose, and the spirit of the dead, and went with her out the gates, looking neither right nor left, walking in front and behind. They went with Ishtar from the gate of Ganzir. Out of the netherworld they accompanied her, and Ereshkigal, scorned queen of the abyss, wherein all are drowned, pronounced a curse, solemn and powerful, against the queen of the rising of the sun, and Namatar gave it form. When the lover of Ishtar, beloved of the queen of heaven, goes down before me, goes through the gate of Ganzir, to the house of death, when with him the wailing people come, the weeping woman and the wailing man, when Dumuzi is slain and buried, may the dead rise and smell the incense. And that is the descent of Inanna and the ascending of Inanna. Like I said, some acquired reading is necessary to fully understand the rest of the story. I'm sure you can find a PDF of the Epic of Gilgamesh, or if you, like me, you'd rather have the actual book, you can do that too at your local Barnes & Noble. And if you have to, Amazon, if you have to. But with that, I'm going to let you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't, give it a thumbs up anyway. If you're new to this video, head on over to my channel, see what it's all about. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, become part of Team Awesome. And be sure to click that little bell icon to stay informed. Be sure to read the description. That's where you can find me. And I also put some things that didn't make it into the video. Sometimes I put funny things that didn't make it into the video. You never know. But I hope you've enjoyed this latest edition of the Necronomicon. And I will catch you all later. Have a great Easter. Have a great Resurrection Day. If not, just have a great Sunday. Bye.